Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hade, and Worth the Poor. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and coming up today, the Cowboys brass talked in depth about their roster building process, right? Talked about the draft. Talked about one Bobby Wagner. Yeah. In doing so, they said something interesting about a position group that I thought wasn't a strength, but they feel as though it is. So I double backed. I had to listen again and say, wait a minute. So we'll talk about that. Won't keep you guys terribly long today. Give me a call if you want, 351-999-3787. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line to talk about all things Dallas Cowboys and more. Let's get into it. Appreciate you guys joining me this morning. Let's get some shout-outs in the building. Tom Donnie Burner, account TC915, Jonathan Scruggs, James Simmons, Eric Brown, Professor O. He said, see the way our checking account is set up, checking into savings. That's how, Catboy does it. James Ruff, Ali, Hector Colombo's going on. What else got it? Iceberg Q, Mark Canella, Captain America. How are you, sir? Grant Rainwater, Terrence Conner. Sorry if I said that wrong. Terrence Conner. Samuel B47, Vic, what's up? Who else we got over here? Sean Mike, how you doing? Matt Goddix, what's going on? Nicholas P, Jason T over on Facebook, Chuck P, and many more coming through. I know you're upset, Nick. I know, man. I know. Don't worry about it, though. We'll talk through this thing. We'll get through it. What's up, Perry? What's up, Cash? How you doing? Before we jump into all things Cowboys, let's kind of go around, not really around the league, but let's talk about kind of the news that dropped yesterday. That was pretty big deal to a lot of people that are into the overtime situation. So there is a new overtime rule. And let me see if I even pulled that thing up, because I want to bring it up so you guys can actually see what it looks like. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up here. Nonetheless, they did pass the overtime rule last night or yesterday, however you want to look at it. And, all right, here it is. Let me get this for you. And this is what it looks like, all right? We've got a new, or as my guy would say, and new overtime rule. Both teams, this is the rules right? Both teams will have the opportunity to possess the ball in overtime in the postseason. This is just for the postseason. If the score is tied after each game, after each team has possessed the ball, the next score wins. Here's the weird part. If the team kicking off to start the overtime period scores a safety on the receiving team's initial possession, the team that kicked off is the winner. Now, I dubbed this rule the Allen rule because, everyone was screaming for Josh Allen to get another possession was it in January against the Chiefs, that epic game. It was epic. It was awesome. I loved it. One of my favorite games I've seen over the last decade. Back and forth. That last 5 minutes were ridiculous. But me personally, I really never had an expressive emotion to how overtime was to begin with, right? But I feel like we as fans pretty much bullied the NFL to fix this thing, or to change it, I should say. I didn't really see too much of an issue. I also don't mind altering stuff in the NFL. Things change. I get it. I would have been cool if they left it the way it is, but this is the new overtime rule. So my question to you guys, big deal, little deal, no deal on this new overtime rule. To me, I'll give it a little deal. I guess. I give it a little deal. I don't particularly think they needed to do anything, but I get how the league changes, rules change. I'm not upset that they made this change. It should give us more football. More football. Big deal, little deal, no deal. Tom said, fix this, Rich. Little deal. Professor O, little deal, says TC915. Yeah, I look at it the same way. It's not that big of a deal to me. Not that big of a deal to me. Little deal, says Eric W. If you're a Bills fan, Jacob, he says, if you're a Bills fan, it's a huge deal. I don't want to be this guy, but it's true. You have the number one defense. Make a stop. If I'm a Bills fan, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not mad at the rules. I'm mad that you gave up 5 consecutive touchdown drives or whatever it was to end the game, and we got the number one defense in the NFL, statistically at least. So I would be more mad at my team, not the rules. Quit said, we'll see how it plays out. I'm just glad they acknowledged it, says Cash. I can see why they made it only for the playoffs. I like that part about it, Scruggs. I'm glad they didn't do this for the regular season. I just feel like that's not needed, right? Keep it the way it is. But for the playoffs, I think it's pretty dope that they did it for the playoffs, because that's where it's heightened, and that's where we don't mind. We don't mind more football in general, but definitely in the playoffs. More football, playoffs. Love it. Gotta love that. Let me know when they drop the salary cap, says Iceberg Q. Eric says, frustrated as a fan, it's so stupid. Okay, here we go. To believe you can improve a team. Oh, I thought you were talking about the rule, Eric. Yeah, we'll get into that. So to believe you can improve a team with cheaper players, good players cost for a reason. You get production that the cheaper players can't give you, so frustrating. There's a give or take there. Sometimes you'll get a J-Ron Curse situation, right? Cheap as hell, but play like a Pro Bowler. But I look at that as kind of more of a lightning in a bottle type of thing. You know what I mean? Tom says you get what you pay for. Yeah, that's true as well. For the most part, you do. All right, let's get into the roundup. A lot of the show is based on what went down and what's going down in the roundup and what happened down at the owners meeting, or they call it the NFL annual meetings now. It's not really the owners meeting anymore, even though it's most of the owners. The coaches are there too, but Steven said some things. Jerry was saying some things. Coach McCarthy, while he wasn't there virtually, also said some things that I want to get to. So stick around for that, and let's hit this dang on roundup.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. Looking to begin your fitness journey, head on over to now 13 locations. No longer 9 locations. TFF is expanding. 13 locations in the DFW area, or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. Sky, you buried the lead. I know, I did it for a reason. The Dallas Cowboys are out on one Bobby Wagner. Now, again, this shouldn't come as a surprise, right? We pretty much knew Bobby Wagner was out of the equation in regards to the price tag. But, if I may, pull this up before I do so. Let me read to you what Stephen Jones had to say about Bobby Wagner. Obviously, Dan had a history with Bobby and knows him well. So you look into that. He's great. He's a great football player. He's a Hall of Fame type player. But as it turned out, it didn't work out with us. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to know what he means by it didn't work out with us. Most likely it had to do with financials, right? I mean, it's not play. You just said he's a great football player. It's not chemistry. He has chemistry with Dan Quinn. So it's the money situation. So they're out on Bobby Wagner. But they're in on Jabril Cox as being a fixture of the defense next year. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday with Jabril. For me personally, love Jabril Cox. Love him. Micah and Jabril Cox, let's roll. If you tell me he's 100% healthy, he won't get hurt again, right? But he did get hurt. And the linebacking room to me is a little iffy, and we'll get into that later. But here's what Stephen Jones had to say about Jabril Cox. He said he's doing really well after his ACL tear. I think he's coming along great. Should be a big plan for us this year. He'll fit right in where Keanu Neal left off. I think he has great coverage skills. So kind of gave us an insight on what his role would be, at least here in March. A long ways to go, right? Got to get the rookie camp or mini camp, training camp, preseason, things like that. But they look to play him in that Keanu Neal role which really, what role did Keanu Neal even play? But nonetheless, I love having Jabril Cox next to Micah Parsons. What I don't like is what's behind, and what I don't like is the 2022 depth as it stands. So they're out on they're out on Bobby Wagner, in on Jabril Cox, out on a linebacker early in the draft. They asked Stephen Jones about the position. He said, could do better there, but I won't say it's a huge priority before the draft. Now, we'll dive into that more a little bit later. If my audio situation works here, I'll pull up what he had to say about it. If not, I'll have to finesse it, but we'll figure it out. Either way, he had some interesting things to say about the linebacker position. Mike McCarthy also spoke yesterday, or what might have been the day before. And he was posed a question about moving Micah Parsons to full-time defensive end, which continues to get brought up here by a lot of people. This is what Coach McCarthy had to say. He's obviously unique. He's special. Parsons won't be a full-time defensive end in 2022. His versatility is so important for us. I know as an offensive guy, you're helping me if you line him up at one position every time. 100% totally agree. I've been saying that since we found out that he could rush the edge. Could he be a 15, 16 sack guy? Sure. I mean, he was 13 sack guy. Well, playing part-time down there now. He also had about 7 sacks from the linebacker spot. But he's so damn good. And I've said this so many times. Early on in his career, I would allow him to do both of these things. Now, maybe later on, you might want to move him to one or the other full time, but he's just too damn good to be put in that one spot. And I'll continue to bring this up. Dan Quinn brought this up about Jason Taylor. We coached Jason Taylor down in Miami. I believe it was Jason Taylor he talked about. Fantastic edge rusher. Hall of Famer. First ballot, which was weird, but Hall of Fame edge rusher. As great as he was, he said, what makes it tough when you have a guy like that can only play in one spot is that they can game plan to take you out. Easier said than done, but obviously can be done. Micah's worst game last year, you could argue, was the Patriots game. He primarily played at one spot, obviously rookie or what have you, but if you really go back and watch Micah all year, it's hard-pressed to say, yeah, we stopped him. We game planned and took him out the game. It's very rare for a rookie to affect the game the way he did last year. And I think that will only improve next year. And it only improves if you continue to use his versatility and don't keep him in one spot. Coach also talked about replacing Amari Cooper's targets in the trade and whatnot. This is what he had to say when he discussed trading away Amari Cooper and who will get those opportunities. Expect more from CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, and wide receiver James Washington among the diverse weapons on offense. I've got something to say about some of the names he did say in regards to CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, James Washington, specifically Tony Pollard. If they're being real about that, that's good news, Cowboys Nation. It's something I've been asking for a long time. But Steven also spoke on the Cooper situation. I mean, he kind of flat out lied if you really listen to what he said. He stated that the Cowboys couldn't keep Amari Cooper and pay Michael Gallup, so they decided to move on from Cooper for that reason. Listen, Steven, you don't got to lie to kick it, as my guy Law would say. We know why you cut him. You decided to pick Gallup over Cooper, not because you couldn't pay those two. You could have. Don't think it would have been smart. I would have just kept Cooper and not paid Michael Gallup. But don't insult my intelligence as a fan. Just keep it a bean. In that situation, he gone. For the most part, I don't give a damn no more. Cooper's gone. So just say it what it is. You guys soured on Amari Cooper, and you believe in Michael Gallup long term for a good price. But you absolutely could have kept them. That's a lie. Go figure. Instead, like we said, they elected to go with Gallup. And he also came out and said that Michael Gallup is expected to miss 2 to 3 games. And if we're keeping it, we're being honest, we could probably add about 2 or 3 more games to that, right, Cowboys Nation? Man, I said this yesterday. I've been saying it for a while, ever since the whole surgery thing came out. I don't expect to really see Michael Gallup until October. And now that he came out and said that we're going to see him miss 2 to 3 games, I think we can stamp it. We're not seeing Michael Gallup till October. We brought on Dr. Boothby of OSMI a few weeks ago to talk about his time frame. And he said that August time frame, everything would have to go perfect for him to just come back and do all those football things. And now we're hearing 2 to 3 games. And we talked a lot with Dr. Boothby of OSMI. If you guys don't know what OSMI is, it is the Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. I can find it here. Here we go. OSMI provides arthroscopic and robotic assisted orthopedic surgery, foot and ankle surgery, sports medicine, and physical therapy, and a ton more. Their team of orthopedic specialists has offices in Fort Worth, Decatur, Mansfield to provide state-of-the-art orthopedic care to the North Texas area. When it comes to medical care, you and your loved ones deserve the best possible experience. So schedule your hassle-free appointment today at osmifw.com. Talked to Dr. Boothby earlier this week about Tyron and DeMarcus Lawrence had an issue technically, but we'll try to figure that out. Let me get to some super chats, I believe, from B Bird. I got you, brother. I got you. Make sure I get y'all today with these super chats. Here we go.
Super chat.
Got a couple of them. He said, "What up, Sky? Did you make the name Catboy because I first heard it from you, but everyone on mainstream media is using it now? You need your credit." No, I did not make. Now I came up with the whole Catboy, what you gonna do song, but I did not make the name Catboy. OG, that, if I'm not mistaken, came from Not to Be Trite on Twitter. I think he came up with Catboy and it just took over. So give him credit.
Super chat.
Another donation from B Bird. He says Cowboys after the Cooper trade were signed Gallup to a 5-year contract and he'll be ready to go game 1. Oh, okay, you're saying that's what they said. Cowboys now, Gallup out until week 4. Yeah. I don't always trust what they say, right? And they haven't really gained our trust, especially when it comes to injuries, right? DeMarcus Lawrence was out longer than we thought. Neville Gallimore was out longer than we thought. Tristan Hill was out longer than we thought. And that's what kind of worries me about Jabril Cox and really Michael Gallup. We already talked about Michael Gallup, though. He's going to miss the first month. But that's what worries me about Jabril Cox. And we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. I kind of want to start where I ended the TFF morning roundup, and that's with how will the Cowboys replace Amari Cooper's targets. And he brought up Tony Pollard. Y'all know me. For the last few years, I've been asking TP to get involved a whole lot more than he's been involved. And if we can somehow, some way involve him more in the passing game, I would love it. For whatever reason, they stopped doing that in the second half of the year. I'll give you some numbers on where Tony Pollard lined up in the slot or out wide the first 6 games, which it's not a lot anyway, but 26 times in the first 6 weeks of the season, Tony Pollard was lined up in the slot or out wide. I still don't think that's a lot, but it is what it is. The first 6 weeks for Tony Pollard, the way the Cowboys use him, I'll take it. But then for whatever reason, like their entire offense, it did a 180. The last 9 games, he lined up out wider in the slot a total of 25 times. Now, yes, he missed a few games, but I'm including the 9 games he played, not the rest of the season. So only 25 times in 9 games he played after the bye week did he line up in the slot, but the first 6 weeks, 26 times. I hope we see more TP out there, or at the very least, more TP involved in the passing game, because he's been productive throughout his career with that, at least the last 2 seasons. Of the running backs with at least 40 targets, Tony Pollard was 7th in YAC per reception in 2021. In 2020, of running backs with at least 30 targets, he was 6th in the league. Those same years, Ezekiel Elliott was 28th and 30th. So it's pretty obvious he is your receiving type back. But I've been saying this for a while. I don't think you should box him into that. As we can see in some of these highlights, he can get busy on the ground too. Too many people box Tony Pollard into this one-dimensional role. He can do a multitude of things. And for those that have been following Tony Pollard throughout his career in high school, but in college, at Memphis, he played a lot of wide receiver. It shouldn't take 4 years in to realize that you can move him around. Now, I'm not saying you put him out there at slot full time. A lot of people are interested in doing that. They want Tony Pollard to be a full-time slot. I say kind of similar to Micah Parsons, no, because he can do multiple things at a high level. He can run at a high level, and I think he can probably play out there at a high level. We just haven't seen it. So yay or nay, would you guys put Tony Pollard in the slot more next year? I absolutely would. James says, Tony Pollard just needs to be the starter over Zeke. I'm sorry. But enough with the whole get my money worth out of Zeke after overpaying him. It's really hurting the offense. This is going to be one of those debates amongst Cowboys Nation that will go down. If we had the rankings, right? Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, that was one for a while. Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry probably, or was Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Ramsey? We'll say that's another one. But this Zeke and TP thing is turning into a very interesting debate. Very interesting. Because I feel both sides. I feel you. Just go look at the numbers, go watch the tape. Tony Pollard gets busy. He gets busy. But on the other hand, Ezekiel Elliott, when he was healthy, got busy too. So I feel y'all. But y'all know how I feel about the whole Zeke situation. He's getting up there in carries, getting up there in age, which means the wear and tear. So it's best that you limit his carries, not, increase them. I don't want Zeke carrying or touching the ball 25 times anymore. I don't. And some people will say, well, the only way Ezekiel Elliott can be Zeke is if he gets the ball 25, 27, 28 times. If that's the case, I'm a pass on that. Danny White, Tony Romo's another one, Stephen White, thank you. But I'm a pass on that. If I have to tote the rock to Zeke 27 times, I'm good. I'd rather divvy that up with Tony Pollard because I know this team hasn't been consistent on the ground the last 2 years. Consistent. I know we had a stretch for 6 weeks last year, but if you go back the last 2 years, and we could talk about play calling, we can talk about the offensive line, the health, whatever. What changed? Play callers still here. Offensive line issues, health-wise, are still present. In fact, your depth took a hit. So I've said this for a long time. If we're trying to figure this run game out, if it's not working quite as much, then hand the ball to the guy that can bust one off. And it doesn't have to be every game where he's getting the ball 20 times, right? But there's no excuse for him to touch it 3 times, 6 times, things like that. So I think it's silly to kind of rule out Tony Pollard if you're the staff, just cause. Here's one thing I didn't like, James, is the fact that they shoved Zeke down our throats to get that 1,000 yards at the end of the year. I would rather him have sat, been healthy, and been available, and been at his best, I should say, not available, at his best against the 49ers. So sit him in that Eagles game. Sit him in that Washington game, whatever, right? Whatever you need to do to get him healthy going into that game. Same thing with TP. You sat TP, and then he touched the ball 3 times. It just don't make sense. Special K says TP should get the first and second down. He's liable to break one for a touchdown on one of those downs. He doesn't need much to get busy. I agree. He's an efficient runner. I'm all about efficiency. All about it. Lake believes Zeke is still better than Tony Pollard. Pollard is just faster. See, the first part of that, if you want to believe that, that's cool, right? I'm not knocking that. Zeke is Zeke when he's healthy. But when people just say, oh, Pollard's just faster. Pollard's not just Pollard breaks tackles at a better rate. He catches the ball better. He's more versatile in regards to being able to go out wide and actually run a route. I think he makes people miss more than Ezekiel Elliott now. There's a handful of things that he does better than Zeke, to be honest with you. There's a handful of things. Sam wants to trade Zeke June 1st, save on the cap. Sam, if I'm not mistaken, Cowboys Nation, y'all can help me out here. I don't think there's anything you can do to save money this year on Ezekiel Elliott. Anything. Nor would I, because there's nothing to gain. Who's taking on that contract? Who? There's nothing to gain by trading Ezekiel Elliott right now, Cowboys Nation. Just keep them, use them both. Then next year, more than likely, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. Y'all can screenshot it. Y'all can hold me to it. We'll revisit it next year. I'm of the belief we'll be looking at a brand new backfield in 2023. A brand new backfield. TP's on the final year of his deal. Highly doubt, if he doesn't get hurt, let's talk about that, right? Because if he gets hurt, maybe his price goes down. Highly doubt the Cowboys are going to sign him to anything that they want to sign. And then the whole Ezekiel Elliott contract situation, unless Zeke comes out and has this all-pro year, and maybe that won't even help him. But if he has a tremendous year, he stays healthy, he looks like the old Zeke. Maybe you can argue keeping him, but the price tag, I'm pretty sure, is very high, and we know these guys are all about cutting price. They talked about it the other day. Well, Jerry did at least. Our top 10 or 11 guys, we need them to play up to that price point. That's why we had to make tough decisions. But they never put Ezekiel Elliott in that conversation. They never do. Next year, he'll be a part of that conversation. He'll be a part of it. Appreciate your CT, the Madden Head. We got a couple other super chats.
Super chat.
TP can be used like Debo, to be honest. Something that we talked about a lot here. Absolutely would use him like Debo. Absolutely. There was another one. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Tom Downey.
Super chat.
Once again, zero foresight and backing ourselves up. Well, if I can pull up, I'm not really sure if this is going to play or not. Let me see something.
Are there still one or two areas you would like to?
Okay, y'all heard that, right? Just couldn't see it. All right, so what we'll do, we'll just listen to what Stephen Jones had to say. Because he actually talks about covering yourself in the draft. And he brings up the linebacker position. He brings up offensive line and things like that. Let's just take a listen real quick to what Stephen had to say yesterday about this particular position, about a particular player, and their thought process leading into the draft at a couple positions that they want to attack still in free agency. Let me see. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Are there still one or two areas you would like to cover yourself going into the draft so you can adopt that?
I think so. I mean, right now we probably need a kicker. I mean, we've got a young guy on the roster, but, obviously we got to figure out the kicking situation. Then we got a few other places that we'd like to, shore some things up. So
Interior offensive line is one.
I mean, offensive line in general.
Okay.
I think is fair to say.
Is offensive line a free agent concept or a draft concept?
Both.
Stephen, what can you do?
I mean, I think in order for us to, accomplish what we talked, whoever just mentioned it, so that we can keep our draft pure, we'd like to get a player or two there so we're not just feel pushed to go too high and early and often if the right player's not there.
What about linebacker? Are you good there? Or do you need more numbers there?
We feel good about it, as you know. You can, some people consider in the building J-Ron Curse a linebackers. Right. So, we don't need as many backers as we used to because we kind of play that hybrid style with our safeties there. But we're not heavy with numbers and certainly could do better there, but I wouldn't say, it's a huge priority before the draft.
Stephen, what are the covers?
How's last year's draft pick? I mean, how's he coming along in his rehab at linebacker?
Jabril Cox, yeah. He's doing really well. Feel great about him. Feel great that he fits, he's the right fit for what Dan wants to do defensively. And, think he's coming along great and should be a big plus for us this year. Probably fill right in where Keanu left off. And I think he's got great coverage skills and a good offseason with him will be good for him and really like his upside.
We good at backer.
Still one or two areas you would like to cover yourself going into the draft.
We good at backer, but he talked about covering himself in the draft with the offensive line position. So I got to touch on that. Before I do that, let's talk about this week's ride of the week, which pivoted on me. It's a different ride of the week. It's a 2022 Mazda CX-5 2.5S. This week's ride of the week is presented by Freeman Mazda. More than any other mainstream compact crossover, the 2022 Mazda CX-5 makes its driver feel very special. The 2022 CX-5's transcendent traits simply outpace all of its classmates. They have the Apple CarPlay, the Android Auto, which I always like to talk about because that is one of the coolest features in these new rides. Backup camera, the heated seats, also the heated steering wheel and the cooling. I think that's pretty cool too. The adaptive cruise control Wi-Fi hotspot, and only starting at $29,125 for the base model. Check out this week's ride of the week, 2022 Mazda CX-5 on freemanmazda.net. All right, so he talked about a lot there. A lot that again, I had to double back on. One being the linebacker position, obviously Jabril Cox. So we can talk about that in a second. But he brought up J-Ron Kearse as part of the linebacker group, which it makes sense, right? Like J-Ron Kearse being there makes sense. He played a lot of that big nickel. Dan Quinn loves to play the big nickel. In fact, he played over 400 snaps in the box last year. So he obviously was a de facto linebacker safety type of thing. But if you go and look at the actual linebacker room, and I'll pull that up here for y'all that are watching the show, it's still a concern. I'm just a bit shocked that they feel, or I guess they feel, he feels at least, comfortable with this. Obviously, you got Micah, right? Jabril Cox coming off the ACL, Leighton Vander Esch, and Luke Gifford. That's your linebackers right now. It's your linebackers. Even if Jabril is ready to roll, no problems. The depth, to me, is still a little bit of an issue. And we saw that depth was an issue last year. In a crazy turn of events, because I thought the depth was going to be pretty decent. Ended up not being. But here's why I still view this as a slight concern. They like to use Micah as that hybrid style linebacker defensive end, right? So I would treat the linebacker room with a little bit more urgency for a few reasons. One, being when they move Micah down, that's going to put somebody in that position. Leighton was lukewarm to below average last year at that. Keanu wasn't good at all at doing it. I don't know when Jabril is going to be back. And I love Jabril, but I'm not just trying to rely on just Jabril in that situation, especially at a position that bangs all the time and they can get dinged up. Two, getting dinged up. Injury concerns. They're real. Between LVE, we know about him, he's super hurt guy, and Luke Gifford. He's been hurt in his career as well. So to me, they seem to be relying mostly on this man right here. And again, if you need to go back and watch Jabril, whether it be in LSU, whether it be at North Dakota State, whether it be in preseason. He didn't play a lot of snaps in the regular season besides special teams. But there is a lot to like about Jabril Cox. A lot to like about Jabril Cox. A lot of people had concerns in the run game with him. I thought in the preseason he showed willingness to participate in that situation. They had concerns about his toughness, his physicality. I thought he showed willingness in that situation in the preseason as well. I was very high on him, and I was ready to rip the Band-Aid off. I looked at it this way, and this is what bugs me about the Cowboys. Jalen Smith, LVE, you guys were clearly ready to move on, right? Just go look at week one. They didn't play much at all. It wasn't until the injuries piled up and you had to use those guys that they played a little bit more. Then you eventually cut Jalen Smith. And we thought Jabril was about to get more tick. Didn't quite happen. And right when they were ready to, I guess he tore his ACL. But why not just rip the Band-Aid off and go, especially at the linebacker position? It sounds like that's what they're going to do this year. And they're going to roll with this look. Now, I said this on Twitter, and I could be wrong. Maybe y'all could let me know if I'm wrong here. When he talks about there not being a real need at the linebacker position right now, they feel good about where they're at. There's no urgency. To me, it kind of screams, hey, we're not going to take a backer early. unless, like Jerry said, there's a Micah Parsons there. Do we honestly believe there will be a Micah Parsons at 24? I don't think so. So it sounds like they're going to rule out linebacker pretty early, possibly until round 3, maybe after round 3. And now I might be a bit aggressive saying past round 3, but if they're going to punt on linebacker in the first and second round, Cowboys Nation, or in the third maybe, I feel more comfortable if they add another spot to this, add another player to this position. I feel a lot more comfortable. It doesn't have to be Quan. Y'all know I'm championing for Quan Alexander. It could be someone else that's on the market if there's a veteran linebacker on the right side of 30 that's not going to cost you a lot, that you can feel good about if they need to play. But I just have a hard time going into the season, and this is your group, and then the 4th or 5th round linebacker. I have a hard time with that, man. At 56, linebacker, yes. I would, but I guess it depends on the board, right? Monday we're going to do another mock draft, and we'll dive into that, and we'll see what it looks like. But I would definitely be looking at backer in the first 3 rounds. I said a bunch of times, I'm not all in on it in the first round, depending on who's there, but definitely in the first 3. They've got Devontae Bond. That's the cat on the practice squad, right? Or futures contract. Counting that guy in on this. I'm sorry. We got B Bird on the horn. What's up, OG?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing this morning, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We were talking about Steven earlier, and I kind of wanted to just tell you something here. I'll tell you a story, that is. It won't be long, but so my daughter plays softball. I told you that before, but when she was, let's say, playing 10U, she had a real crucial at bat where she was, it was 3 balls, 2 strikes, and I saw in her eyes she was kind of afraid to swing the bat. And so what she was doing, she was hoping for a walk. So after the game was over with, and she got struck out. After the game was over with, me and her talked, and it wasn't a real, I've never really fussed at my daughter about performance on the field. But one thing I told her right there, I said, let me tell you something. I said, on 2 strikes, we swing. I said, I don't mind you failing, but we're not going to fail with the bat on your shoulder. We're not going to leave it in the hands of the pitcher and the umpire. I said, if you swing and you miss, I have no problem with that. So fast forward, she took that into consideration. And my daughter played high school last year, and she had 1 strikeout all year. And she's the best 2-strike hitter on her team. The reason why is because, we're going to be aggressive at 2 strikes. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is I asked her after last season, I said, well, you're good. She's a good athlete, so you're a good base stealer. And I said, well, how many times you got caught last year? She said, Dad, I only got caught 1 time stealing base. I said, you should get caught more. That's too low. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, that means you're not trying. You're taking up. The situation has to be perfect for you to steal. I say, good base stealers get caught stealing way more than that. I said, you're not trying. You're not attempting more because you're trying to wait till everything lines up. Sometimes everything's not going to line up. You got to go for it. And what it was is what I'm trying to tell her is that don't worry about getting caught. Just be aggressive. Don't be scared to fail. Yes. And so that's in both of those 2 things. Don't be afraid to fail. And I think Steven is afraid to go for things because he's afraid of failing. And so what the thing is, you just got to go for it. And so sometimes, just take that base running example. Hey, sometimes you're going to strike out. You're going to get a free agent that's not worth it and this, that, and the other. But along the lines, you'll find some that's going to hit. But if you don't take a swing at it, man, then you're just sitting there watching a game go by. And so I just think it's his fear of failure, fear of public backlash, fear of all these things that keeps him kind of paralyzed and not doing anything. And so I just wanted to kind of when we talked about him, I just kind of wanted to bring that by and just see what you thought about it, and I'll take your answer offline, bro.
Man, that's an excellent, comparison. And it's something we brought up, last week. One of the callers called in and I said something very similar to what you said. They're afraid to fail. And in life, I think, and maybe you can attest to this, you learn more about yourself when you fail, not when you're succeeding all the time. And with this organization, they got scared back in 2012 when they signed Brandon Carr. They probably got scared when they traded up as well for Mo and things like that. And, yesterday Jerry talked about the Wildcat and Jerry is still here, but Steven is pushing him up against the wall, using an example he used the Deion Sanders signing and basically telling him, no, we don't want the Wildcat and Jerry. So it's clear this is one of those analogies we use. Jerry owns the yacht, but Steven's the captain. And Steven is captain conservative. And if you don't hire somebody to do this and they fail, you never know what you need to do to get better. And the problem with Steven and Jerry, they don't hire anyone. They're the guys making these decisions. They don't look at it as failure in their eyes. They look at it as, hey, B-Bird and Cowboys fans, we're just good enough. We're just good enough to go to the playoffs every 2 or 3 years. That's good. That's not a failure in our eyes. In everyone else's eyes, that's a failure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something even more so on this point, and I'll get off the phone. So and this is basketball, but everybody has the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, who's the best. The reason why I'm always going to be Team Jordan is because I've seen LeBron not take shots because he's afraid to fail. I've never seen Jordan not take a shot because he's afraid to fail. The thing about a last-second shot, it's not making it. It's the courage to take it. I don't care about you making it or not. I like the guys that got the nuts to take the last-second shot. Give me the ball. I'm going to shoot it. Oh, he missed it. But the courage is shooting it. It's not necessarily making it. And some guys shy away from that because they don't want none of the smoke after it. And that's what LeBron does. He shies away from some shots that he should be taking, and he wants to be the GOAT. Nah, the GOAT takes those shots, and he don't give a damn. Him and Kobe Bryant, too. They don't give a damn about the repercussions. They see that as an opportunity. They see the good out the shot, right? They look at it and be like, man, I'm going to hit this shot. I'm going to be on everything. Because all they think about is the positive. A guy like LeBron be like, I'm going to miss this shot. Oh, man, they're going to talk about this. See, that's just a whole different mentality.
Kobe was the same way. Kobe was the same way.
Kobe was the same way. They didn't care, man. They were just thinking about, man, let me tell you this. I'll get there. I'm sorry. I got to go.
This is good stuff. Go ahead.
My son is he played his last year of senior football. And so he's an average athlete, man. Barely got playing time as a wide receiver. But the thing about it, he's a junior high.
His son tall as hell, though. I remember when you brought.
Yeah, yeah. So we go out there, man, junior high, and I throw him the ball 10 times because he wanted to be a wide receiver. Dude dropped 9 of them. I was like, my God, what are we gonna do? And so
corner.
So we go in the game, man. They throw him a ball over the middle. He goes up and catch the ball, drags 3 dudes down to the 1-yard line. I said, Bryce, why did you missed 9 balls out of 10 the other day? And then he told me, he said, nah, Daddy, he said, man, some girls in the stand, man. I'm trying to impress them. What he's thinking is, see, he don't think about the bad stuff. He said, you throw me the ball, man, I'm going to make it happen. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, man, girls in the stand. This girl right here, I'm trying to impress her. I'm trying to impress her. That's just what he thinks about, man. He ain't thinking about he's not thinking about I dropped 9 out of 10 in practice. I dropped this, I dropped that. I'm gonna he's thinking about, man, throw me the ball, the glory gonna be on me. That's what those guys think about, man. And so what I'm saying, it's just interesting how his mind thinks, man. Yeah. And dude, he didn't drop a pass in high school. They ain't throwing many, but he just don't drop them because he's thinking girls in the stands. Yeah. Girls in the stands. Yeah, and so it's just how some people's mindset is. They think about the glory. Throw it to me. That's how Michael Irvin's mind was. Man, throw me the ball. It's gonna be glory. And some people think, man, I'm gonna make this. Don't throw me the ball. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want everybody to be on me. And so I just want to kind of give you that analogy, man, because I think that's really what Steven. He's just afraid to make mistakes, man. And in his fear of making mistakes, it keeps us down because we never gonna get to where we want to be at with his mindset being that way, brother. And I'm going to holler at you later on, man. It's great talking to you, man.
Appreciate you, OG. Great stories right there. Right. Great analogies right there. In a way, that fear or that conservatism kind of trickles down, right? Kind of trickles down. It trickles down to the game plan being, hey, just take what the defense give you. We don't want to do too much. Then it goes to your quarterback. He plays a little bit conservative sometimes to a fault, and that's where we talked about I need a little bit more of that in your system. I need you to fail a little bit more. I know this sounds crazy. When I say fail, I don't mean lose the game. I mean, if your interceptions, and then this is about Dak, just talking about this part here. If your interceptions have to creep up to 15, which I don't like, right? He's not an interception guy, but he's also not a guy who wants to put the ball in that type of situation a ton. But in the result, somebody just called in. Call back in. I got you. But in the process of your interceptions increasing by 5, your touchdowns increase by 12. I'll take that. Obviously, depending when the interceptions are matters, because we've lived through that with Tony, right? It's kind of crazy. We lived through that with Tony. We had the roller coaster. Tony would do some spectacular things, especially his first couple years. He would also do some spectacularly dumb things. And it was a turnover machine. That's where we got Tony turnover and things like that. But I think him doing that early helped him know what he can and can't do, what he should or we shouldn't do. And by the time he got to be a super veteran, his interceptions started to dwindle. But his chances were still there, right? His aggressiveness was still there. So I love the analogy, B-Bird. I 100% agree. I said this last week. This organization, or at least Steven at the very least, is scared to fail. You got to take a chance, man. Somebody in there said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Period. And this doesn't have anything to do with just Bobby Wagner or this player or that player. This is what, the last 10, 15 years of this kind of team building. CT said you don't fail in the game, you fail in practice. And you know what's funny about, again, I don't mean to go back on Dak, but Dak talks about taking more chances in practice so he knows what he can and can't do in the game. And I'm not saying his approach is bad, because he does take care of the ball. You know what I mean? So I'm not upset with that. What I'm looking at is trying to pair that analogy of what B. Bird said. I think it makes perfect sense. You can talk about that from the top down, the ability or the lack thereof, scared to fail. The aggressiveness. I don't necessarily think it's there in this organization. I hate to use the Rams, but damn it, I'm going to do it. I might have to put them in that same box as the Patriots, right? The Patriots, it's like, well, what are we comparing the Patriots for? This is a 20-plus year dynasty. They did things that no NFL franchise has ever done. Let's not count them. But the Rams have been doing this for the last 4 years, and they've been to 2 Super Bowls, and they won 1. The Rams organization is aggressive from top to bottom. From their general manager to their head coach, and their head coach said, this golf kid, he don't really fit me. He's not really me. So they went and got the guy that's him. And this one thing I know about Matt Stafford, that mother sucker ain't scared of nothing. He'll throw 25 interceptions. He don't care. He'll throw 6 pick sixes. He don't care. But he's going to put you in position to win at the end of the game. And a lot of times he can do it. A whole lot of comebacks in his career in Detroit, and he did it in the Super Bowl, and he did it in the playoffs. So, their approach matches their coach, which matches their personnel all the way down. You would like to see that throughout the organization in any team, whether it be any sport, right? Football, basketball, baseball, whatever. You want that to all match. I don't know that Dallas has that, or they have the right formula. No. It's not that I don't know. I do know that they don't have the right formula. Jerry said it yesterday. He said, yeah, this hasn't worked. But like Jerry, does, he just glossed right over it and said, we do this for this reason because the top 10 salary cap, and we gotta. All right, Jerry. All right, man. Scared money don't make no money. If I ever go broke, I'ma take your money. That's how I wish we felt. You know what I mean? Shout out to Meek. I might have to have that as a drop. Y'all want that as a drop? Scared money don't make no money. If I ever go broke, I'ma take your money. Special K, can we all agree Will McClay has saved and doomed this franchise? Ooh, I see where you're going with that, Special K. I see where you're going with that. You basically saying, obviously he's done a tremendous job getting the players in here. But you're saying because he's so damn good at his job, Steven and Jerry are like, we don't need these tier 1, tier 2. We don't need these impact players in free agency. We don't need to sign a Pro Bowler or all pro. We don't need to do that. We don't need to trade for that. We got Will. I think that's what you're saying, right? That is interesting. That's an interesting point. Damn, that's deep. Because I don't want to look at it as he's dooming this franchise. Because here's why I'll say nah. Because even if he wasn't here, I still believe Steven would carry on the way he carries on. And Professor O said something earlier in the chat. The problem with being just good enough is that you don't get a chance to reset your roster. And sometimes you need to do that. And that's true. That's true. If you're going to go 26 years without success, and damn it, don't tell me just because they won double-digit games and what was it, got six out of the last 26 years, it hasn't been a lot that deems success. That's not success. 3 playoff wins in 26 years is not success. But if you're going to not have success in 26 years, I'd rather you have to kind of start over. When the Cowboys had to do that, that's when they built their core to put them to the next level. 2005. Right? Bill Parcells. They had to strip the roster, but because Parcells is just a Hall of Fame coach and knew the NFL at that time, he did what he did, led them to the playoffs, but he had to redo the roster. They did it, and it set you up for a run from 2005 to about 2009. And then from there, that's about that 4 to 5 year period. We didn't figure it out. We had Camp Cupcake. No offense to Coach Wade Phillips, not a team builder, not a head coach. And you had guys like Jerry running the situation and Steven running the situation. Go look at the talent acquisition in between that time period. It wasn't good. It wasn't good until they brought McClay on board around 2014 to handle the drafts. We got my guy Mel Hayes in the building. Hold on, Mel. Let me fix something real quick. All right. Now you back, Mel. What's going on, man?
What's up, Big Pimp?
How you doing,
man, so to me, I work in real estate, Sky, and I'm going to use some analogies too because like you and like Bird, I like analogies.
Yeah.
So I flip houses. So my job as what I'll call myself is the project manager. My job is to make the house as functional as possible for the least amount of cost.
Okay.
It's not necessarily to make the house look as extravagant as maybe the buyer wants it, but it's to make it look as functional as possible. I mean, make it be as functional as possible. Make sure everything works in the house. But it's not necessarily to make the house, it's not going to have the best finishes as if the home buyer was buying it themselves.
Right.
Now, if you have a designer's job is to make the house look as extravagant as possible, and they're not worried about the cost, right? They going all in every single time. So I'm going to kind of double that back to the Joneses. The Joneses are, when we say they're not football people, we don't necessarily mean they don't know football. That's not what people say when they say that the Joneses are not football people. But their bottom line, when you're doing both roles, is not necessarily to make a Super Bowl champion. It feels to me like what they're trying to do is make the Cowboys as functional as possible for as little amount of cost.
So are the Joneses to you the designer? They're to make it look pretty. So who are they to you in that situation?
To me, the Joneses are the project manager. They just want to make it functional, make it run. So even when they say we want to fill holes with free agents, right? When they say fill holes, they basically mean we want to patch and paint. We're not trying to replace. We're not trying to give you a brand new wall.
Yeah.
We're trying to patch up that wall you already got, throw some duct tape on it, throw some paint on it, so nobody will know that it's actually an older wall. Let's say the designer, if you had a real GM, he would be your designer. He's not worried about the cost. He's trying to bring in the best possible players so that he could win a Super Bowl. Because his job is to win. The Joneses' job, when you're doing both roles, there's no way. So like even me, I always have to go to other people to ask them opinions on design. because that's not really what I'm trying to do. That's not really my sole purpose, because I'm trying to get a return on my money.
ROI.
That's what the Joneses is trying to do. They're trying to get that little money put in as possible. They are not trying to spend like people like, oh, they're out on Bobby Wagner. You don't say.
No, you're absolutely right. Just, Jerry talked about that return a lot yesterday with Mike Fisher, and I said it earlier in the show. He brought up, when the top 10 or 11 players are taking up 66% of the cap, and we need them to play up to this level or be available and all this other stuff. I don't hear other teams talk like that. I know that's kind of what it is, right? Like, obviously you want so-and-so to play this and play that, but he was basically talking about Amari Cooper, and this is what bugs me. You're taking an outlier year and putting it around Amari Cooper as if one season prior he didn't have a 92-catch, 1,100-yard season with a bunch of backups. And he said, we want that player to essentially play into the system, and if they don't fit that, whatever. How about you change the damn system to match the good players? And I said this before. So, you're right. When they talk about the bottom line, they constantly talk about money. I'm tired of hearing about money.
Constantly. No other team. Or I'll say this. No other GM talks about money as much as they do, because their bottom line is their other GM's bottom line. They're trying to win, or else they're getting fired. The Joneses are not getting fired if they don't win. They're not getting who's firing them? They're not getting fired. Steven's not getting fired. Jerry's not getting fired. There's no firing them for not winning. So their bottom line is not necessarily to go in and win. It's to do as little as possible and spend as little as possible and try to go as far as they can.
I do think they want to win, though. I do. I just think they want to win their way. Those are two different things. They want to win it their way, so they can go to the podium.
I don't think that they don't want to win.
Yeah.
I don't think they don't want to win, Sky. I don't think they don't want to win, but I don't think that winning is the bottom line. I don't think winning is the bottom line, because if it was the bottom line, there's just so many things that would be different here. There's no way that everything centers around money if you want to win. So I'm going to go back to the analogy. If I want to make the best house, I can't be concerned about how much I'm going to spend, because I already know I'm going to spend on the best materials, the best finishes. I'm going to hire the best people.
And then when I flip it, I'm going to make more money off of it because I put more money into it. Sometimes I just break even, and I might just have to be happy with that. But to me, with the Joneses it's like, hey, let's put as little much into it as I can, and then I'll flip it and I'll make money. It won't be the best house on the block, but it'll be functional, and the owners will be happy, just like the fans. Man, we had one of our best seasons. We went to the playoffs. Why y'all not happy? We won the division. You're right. Why y'all not happy? You're right, and I want to touch on that. I'm gonna have to move on. Though we got the caller line is getting a bit big here, man. Yes, sir. But I appreciate you, bro. All right, brother. Later. That is very interesting. He brings up, because a lot of people bring up this whole thing of, last year, well, we did this, we went out, we won cheap, and we still had a good season. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I tell you this, I'm pretty damn sure they knew long time ago they were going to move on from 1, Amari Cooper, 2, Lyle Collins, 3, Jalen Smith, and that this would be the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl in the last decade or whatever with this team. So what I'm getting at is, if they thought that, why not go all in the season? I'm not saying be crazy with trades or crazy with signings, but to make no move If you would have told me week 5, 4, 6, whatever, hey, Sky, Coop ain't going to be here next year. Lyle ain't going to be here next year. We're going to lose Randy, which they tried to bring back-ish, right? They obviously signed him, but they were more than willing to let him go. Randy's not going to be here next year. What would you do in this situation? Would you get aggressive? I think I would. I'm not saying trade a bunch of first-round picks. I'm not saying none of that, but I would have tried to get aggressive and made a swing to win it all this year. What I mean by this year, I mean 2021. We kind of sat back and we, again, a hope and a prayer, and didn't work out in the playoffs for a multitude of reasons, right? Players did not play up to the level. I don't think the game plan was great. I don't think they were ready. And they just got whooped, flat out whooped. But at the end of the day, if you would have told me this is how it was going to end and the team was going to look way different, which people try to tell me that. I'm not going to lie to you. Jesse tried to tell me that. I'm like, nah, man. Coop's under contract. We good. Lyell to the contract. We good. Just bring back Randy, bring back J-Ron, and those other pieces you can fix, right? Those other pieces ain't that crazy. Huh? Here we go. There we go. All right, let me get the 972. You've been on hold for a minute. What's up, 972?
What's going on, Scott? It's Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Who? You kind of low, man. You kind of low.
Okay. I think I might be having that service. I just wanted to ask you about the free agents, the available free agents. I kind of got late on the show.
Okay.
I just wanted to hear the best free agent, and that's all. I'm going to listen to the show.
What's the question, though? What's the question?
What's the best free agent for the Cowboys to pick up? Which one's the last ones from the superstar free agent, from Bobby Wagner, Tyrann Mathieu? Who's the other guy? The other guy you had brought up, the other lineman, Akeem Hicks.
Oh, Akeem Hicks, Campbell, Arden Key.
Yeah.
Landon Collins is safety. We don't need him. He's repetitive. The best for the Cowboys, again, I'm going to sound repetitive here. We know Bobby Wagner's out the equation. So that's gone.
Right.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Cowboys Nation. I really feel good about Calais Campbell. You have a need at defensive tackle in regards to a guy that can play the one-tech position, swallow up the double teams, help make things better, and he has position flex to play on the end if you want to run a 3-4 look. He's almost identical to a guy that was on your team last year, but he's a million times better, and I'm talking about Brent Urban. Brent Urban stands at 6'6", about 300 pounds. Calais Campbell stands at 6'8", a little bit over 300 pounds. He's long. He has length. He still can get busy. So, and I think he would fit on a short-term contract for you, so it won't hurt your cap in the present or the future. So I think Calais Campbell makes a ton of sense. He's just older. I get it. But, again, he's played in 9 of the last 10 years or something like that. He's played 14 or more games. So he's an Iron Man. So I like Calais Campbell because it's a need. He's a veteran. He's a guy that's been, at the top of his game in his career. He's a leader. We need more of those. So I'm all in on a Calais Campbell type pickup.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear. I just got in late on the show. Wanted to hear about the next free agent you thought would possibly be a good pickup.
That's the one for me, Matt. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, let's get the 973. Then I think we got Germany in the building after that. What's up, 973?
Who?
I said we got 973 on the phone here. Then after that, I think we have Germany. But who I got on the phone right now? 973.
That's me.
Yeah. What's your name, brother?
Bernard.
What's up, Bernard? What can we do for you, man? How you doing?
Listen, man, why are y'all so negative? I've been a Cowboy fan longer than all of you guys. Mark Holmes, you, and everybody.
Oh, look, more than Mark Holmes?
Stay positive.
You must be.
Huh?
More than Mark Holmes?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Listen. Stay positive, man. All you guys, I was on board with you guys, but y'all so negative. Forget about Bobby. You can't get him. We move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got big. I feel like this. All that negativity is going to be positive once the season. I've been on board with Dallas. I don't want to see y'all on board when we start getting good next year and I don't hear all this negativity. You either in or out, man.
Hold on.
Stay in or out.
Time out. What's your name again? Bernard?
No, yeah.
Bernard, how often do you listen to my show, Bernard?
You know what? Not as much as I like to, because I'll be busy sometimes.
Okay.
But I'm not saying you all that. I'm
makes
just
sense.
saying.
That makes
there's
sense.
a lot of more positivity, man.
Bernard.
Hey, listen.
Bernard.
Hold on. I just want to say one thing. Let me say one thing.
One thing that I'm going to respond, because
Barbie
you're not about to come on my
go.
show and tell me that I can't talk about the Cowboys being good when you don't listen to my show. But go ahead, Bernard. Go ahead.
Listen. Amari Cooper had to go. Lyle Collins need to go. Randy Gregory killed us with them 2 crazy-ass penalties. Let him go. I think we're going to be good. I'm very positive. 12-5. We had the best season we had in a while, man. And everybody act like we went 4-12 or something.
We had the what did you just say? We had the what?
I'm saying we had one of the best seasons in a while, to me.
Okay.
We had a pretty good season. Now we didn't. Now you can make that argument. We didn't play well against teams, like this, in some of those divisions and stuff. But hell, man, sometimes you got to crawl before you walk. I think we're gonna be better than
Crawl
that
before
next year.
we
I
walk?
really do.
Okay. How long we got to crawl?
Huh?
How long do we have to crawl?
Listen, I don't call 12-5 crawling. You know what I'm saying? We did pretty good. This season coming up, I think we'll do better. Okay. I like the team. We just need help on that offensive line. Since Fredericks is gone, and we got an ailing, we got a always off the time hurt left tackle.
We've been crawling for a long. Hey Bernard, we've been crawling for a long time, man. When we gonna get up and start walking, bro?
Huh?
When we gonna get up and start walking? You said we gotta crawl before we walk.
Y'all like our situation is unique. There's a lot of teams been crawling. Look at the Browns. Look at the Raiders. I mean, when I was a kid, these teams were prominent. You know what I'm saying?
This ninja said, look at the Browns and look at the Raiders. You want to be honest with ourselves? We are the Browns and the Raiders. The Cowboys are one of like 5 teams in the last 30 years that haven't been to an NFC championship game. So technically, we are unique, Bernard.
That's true.
Number one. So we're unique.
Kansas City just got a Super Bowl. Look how long they've been out of the mix.
Kansas City been good for the last 10 years. What do you mean?
No. They've been good since what's his name started at quarterback, and they had all the other pieces around.
You sound like a casual, brother. They were good with the Alex Smith family. Listen, all right, let me retort. Let me retort, because what you're not going to do is come on here and get upset because I keep it real. Number one, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping it real. Hold on, Bernard. Hold on, brother, because I let you go. You came on here, you're talking about I'm all this negative and all this and all that. You don't even listen to my show. You don't listen to my show. I have said this. Brother, what the hell? I talk about what goes on. You tell me what is this amazing positive stuff that I could come on here and talk about that the Cowboys have done in the last month. When they signed Jaron Kearse, I was on here having a party. I'm not throwing a party for James Washington. I'm not throwing a party for Dante Fowler. I'm not throwing a party because they got butt whooped in the trade against Amari Cooper. Now, yes, they got butt whooped in the trade. Now, as I said plenty of times, if the Cowboys, and I don't believe the Cowboys are going to be bad next year. This ain't about the Cowboys being bad in the regular season. The division is trash. The Cowboys are probably going to win the division.
What was you going to get for Amari Cooper? First round pick?
See, you ain't. I'm not going back. I'm not doing this circle thing with Amari. You want to move on from Bobby Wagner.
You brought that up, not me. I didn't bring a Cooper up.
You did bring up Cooper, sir.
That was before, though. I'm saying. You just brought up something about what was
I'm responding to your soliloquy. Okay? I'm responding. That's what I'm doing here, Bernard. All right? So there's not a whole lot for me to come on here and blow smoke up y'all. That's not me, Bernard. That's never been me. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying,
right?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
You just sat here and said you want me. Listen, I do a show 5 days a week. 5 days a week. I promise you. everybody in this chat that actually watch my damn show 5 days a week, if I came on here and I was skittling goddamn rainbows 5 days a week, my viewership would dwindle because that's fake, Bernard.
You
That's
got a good
fake.
show. I'm not saying you don't have a good show.
No. I'm not talking about my show. What I'm trying to tell.
I like what you're saying.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, I respond to the things that the Cowboys are doing or have done, and unfortunately, a lot of that has not been positive. Bernard, they just lost in the playoffs, where in a game that I thought we should have won. I think all Cowboys fans should have been felt upset about that, right? And we were. We get to the off season and we lost. We get to the off season. And we lose a lot of players, right? And we don't participate in free agency, which is common. And then the guys they do bring in.
A lot of players.
So you're gonna let me?
Go.
Yeah. Okay. So we bring in players that don't really move the needle. Am I supposed to fake the funk and act like these guys are needle movers? That's not me. That's not me. I appreciate you guys that are all rainbows and Kool-Aid. I appreciate that. You keep rocking on, Bernard. Keep on keeping on. But I actually have to do a show that every day I come here to talk about what the Cowboys do. And the Cowboys are not doing these amazing positive things you want to pretend they're doing.
We don't know yet. It's early yet.
You're right.
None of that yet.
You're not wrong about that.
I don't see the early doom and gloom forecast. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Let me ask you something. Have you heard me say the Cowboys are going to be bad next year?
Well, nah, but there's that implication.
Have you heard that? That's a damn lie. See, that's how I know you don't know me, Bernard. That's how I know you don't know me. And that's cool. You're getting to learn me. You're getting to learn me. Okay, you're getting to learn me. This is what I don't do, Bernard. I don't make predictions in March. I don't even like making predictions after preseason. I usually try to say, give me a few weeks because we don't know what the team is going to look like, right? We don't know what the team. If you watched my show yesterday, I said there is still time for the team to get better, but if you're being honest with yourself, the roster as is constructed right now is not better. But there's time to get better. There's still free agency left.
Yeah.
There's still the draft.
Yeah.
See, this is how I know you don't listen to my show, because that's how I present things. I talk about what is and what can be if this happens. But what is right now, Bernard, is the Cowboys haven't done a ton of positive things for me to come on here and blow up to y'all that, hey, man, Dallas is going 16-0 or Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl. What are we talking about? It's March. They're not going to be terrible. They're not going to be great. We don't know what they're going to be yet. But as it is right now, they got some work to do, Bernard.
I think they're going to be great. I really do. I got a lot of faith. I think they're going to be
Let me ask
good.
Because you seem to be in the prediction business. What you think they're going to do next year in the playoffs? Since we're in March, I'd love to hear this.
I think we'll at least win a couple of games next year in the playoffs. I think at least 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to go all the way. I would hope so. But I really think we're going to do well. Barring injuries. Nobody gets hurt, anything like that. I think we're going to do well. I'm very enthusiastic about this upcoming season, especially if we get a good run stopper and we fix that offensive line. I think those are two keys. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. We haven't
done that yet.
Huh?
We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, but okay.
So remember what I said. I'm talking about what is. That's all I'm talking about. What is?
That's all we can say is what if right now, because we don't know.
Yeah, and
but I'm positive.
Yeah, okay, and that's cool. And that's what sucks is that you think I'm a negative person because I'm not saying
that. I'm not saying you're a negative person.
On the Cowboys.
I'm not saying that.
You think I'm negative on the Cowboys right now, which that's fair because it's not a lot great to talk about. So if you just tune in sparingly, it can sound like I hate my team. I don't hate my team. I don't. I have more belief in the players than I do the front office and the coaches, but I also understand that you need all three to come together to get it done.
Okay, I like that. I like some of that shit you're saying, though. Don't get me wrong. I ain't saying you also all bad. You made some good points. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I got you, Bernard.
A little more positivity, a little more faith. That's all.
A little more Kool-Aid. You want me to pour a little bit more Kool-Aid on there for you? Put a little sugar in there. Hit you with salt.
I like you and I like your show, though, man. I like you and I like you. But I just had to respond. I like it. Come on, man. Look for positivity, man.
Listen, I welcome this because it has really been a lot of Cowboys fans are upset, including myself, and it's been a lot of that feeling. And to get you to come on here,
2 or 3 days. The first, I was upset. That I was very upset. The next day I was up. Then I said, you know what? Calm down. Calm down. It wasn't like we had a real bad. We had a good season. We had a nice record.
That's what pissed me off
Dak
a little more.
Prescott threw for 37 touchdowns and broke all the other quarterbacks' records. I love that, especially him being a black quarterback. But I'm just saying. Hey. Dak's not spectacular, but he's solid. I think he's solid.
Last question. What's your definition of success for this team next year? Real quick. Don't go long-winded. Just kind of the end result.
Number one, the division. My success, the division, of course, and then go a little bit further in the playoffs.
Don't say a little bit. What is further? Just your end game definition of success.
Hold on. At least win 2 games. At least the first round and the second round.
So championship
Perhaps,
game.
huh?
So championship game.
At least. And if we lose that, I'm okay. I might be upset, but at least we got there. At least we got there. Hey, listen, man. I like the way we've been drafting, man. We've been drafting bad. I like it. It's not bad.
Call in, Just Blaze. I'm not talking to you, brother. Call in, Just Blaze. Ain't nobody scared of no smoke. I'm sitting here having a grown-up conversation with Mr. Bernard. Appreciate you, Mr. Bernard. But ain't nobody scared of no smoke on this. I tell people all the time, if you want to call into this show, bring it. We want smoke here, Just Blaze. Come on with it.
Listen,
talking
man,
about.
I appreciate you, bro. I think you got a real good show. You keep it real. I like that. It's just a couple things I was just had to respond to, but other than that,
I appreciate it.
Doing your thing, man. Keep doing it, and I'm out there listening to you, man, because you do have some. You ain't all doom and gloom. I appreciate that.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I just.
And I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Listen, let me get out of here with the encouraging conversation, and I appreciate you. Keep doing what you do.
Thanks, Bernard. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Great call, Bernard. Great call. What is that about? Just Blaze? Act like you knew around here, man. Come on now. 351. I think this is Germany.
Actually, Portugal.
Portugal. I knew it was from one of these places. My apologies, man. Shout out to Portugal.
No worries at all. Things are good over here in Portugal. It's a sunny day and all is well. But when it comes to Cowboys in the offseason this year, everybody is so angry. And it is kind of looking at it from so far away as I am doing. I got to remember like 2019 when Dallas didn't do anything they did nothing in free agency until the day before the draft when they got Robert Quinn. Right? It was the day before the draft.
Made a trade. That wasn't in free agency.
A trade. That's right. It was
but
a trade.
Nonetheless,
they acquired him through. Yeah. But they acquired him at the last second, just before the draft, and like, oh, finally, they've done something, right? And so for me, I look at it like this is kind of par for the course in a weird sort of way. If you look at the team, they got worse in a few areas. They got worse at pass rush. They got worse on the O-line. They got worse at wide receiver, and they're light at linebacker, right? And we all know that, and we're looking at it going, oh, my God, when are they going to do something, right?
Yeah.
On the flip side, we know that they're better at safety because last year, even though they had Kurse and Kazi going into the draft, we didn't know if either one of them were going to be any good. So they had nothing at safety, and we were all like, "Get Eddie Grant, right?" Because we had no idea. Right?
Yeah,
so
I will say this.
Actually, good at safety.
Yeah, I would say they are.
Yeah,
they are. I would say they're better because maybe
safety.
Malik Hooker is going to be the starter full time. I'd say they're better. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're also better, weirdly, at quarterback because Dak Prescott is going to be really, truly healthy going into the year. He's figured out how to practice. They've got a Major League Baseball guy working with him so he doesn't throw his arm out. They've got, he's a year away from the big ankle break and months away from the calf strain. So the quarterback's going to be better. You're better at safety. So you got a little better in some areas, right? And you got a little worse in some areas. And I'm looking at it like, let's just see. I'm down. I mean, right now it's a like, I would call it a mixed bag with downside, right? Like, because right now they're worse in some areas, right? We got to know, like on the eve of the draft or 2 days after the draft, we're going to know what the hell, right? We're going to know if they missed on a center, or they missed on the offensive line, or they missed at wide receiver, or they missed at D tackle, or they missed, what, because they have so many needs, right? They cannot cover them all. They got like 5 needs, and they can cover 3 of them in the draft with premium picks.
See, I don't like
right?
that. But
so they're gonna come out of the draft
way.
a little bit. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. If they come out of the draft and they sit on their $15 million, then I think they're basically saying we're going to hire Sean Payton or whatever. Like all the weird dreams are coming true, right?
Well, I mean,
the bad dreams, good bad dreams, whatever you want to call them.
You don't think they're going to?
But if they then come out,
hold on, slow down. You said if they sit on $15 million, what do you expect them to do with that $15 million now? Right?
They don't have to use that until they use it, right? I mean, in other words, that is just money that's sitting there waiting to be used. Either they roll it over next year, which would kind of suck in my opinion, because it would mean that they're not trying hard enough this year, or they're just waiting for some guys to get a little desperate, so that they can get them at a rate.
They're definitely doing that, but
that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like
it's not. But who are they? What I'm getting at is, what if with that $15 million, unless it's again Akeem Hicks or a Calais Campbell type, which doesn't seem to be up their alley. We're talking about Jags. We're talking about just guys that can be beat out by draft picks.
No, I'm actually talking about guys that we know are useful. Like you mentioned Brent Urban a few minutes ago.
That's a Jag.
I think you mentioned Brent Urban. He's a Jag now? Oh shit.
He'd been a Jag.
Whatever. But the whole point. No. When they had him, you got to look at the rushing stats when he was in and when he wasn't in.
That is too. But see, context, man. Context. Don't just look at whole numbers, because I did go back.
Oh, I get it. When he was in, they averaged 86 yards per game. When he got injured, they went to 120 yards.
See, that's lazy.
When he left,
that's lazy.
Why is that lazy?
That's lazy.
Why is that lazy?
Because go watch.
He's just eating 2 blocks and doing nothing.
No, go watch. That's why I talked about Brent Urban yesterday. He was not some difference maker. He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He was just eating 2 blocks.
He wasn't just eating 2 blocks all the time either. Listen, brother. Context matters. The Cowboys were blowing out teams at the beginning of the season. Okay? They weren't running on them a lot. Go look at the yards per carry. They were very middle of the pack in yards per carry when that mattered. Right? So you're basically saying bringing in Jags. I'm supposed to get all excited about bringing in more Jags. You said Brent Urban.
Last year was Jaron Kearse not a Jag last year?
He was. And see, that's what I talked about earlier. That's exactly what I brought up earlier. That's what Cowboys Nation is holding on to. The hope that we can sign a guy for $1 million and he turns into a Pro Bowler. If that's the hope creed we're going to live on.
What if you sign 3 Jags and 1 great player?
How many times?
Like, for example, one guy who was Robert Quinn, 1 Robert Quinn, and 3 Jags.
I would love that.
$15 million.
Who's the Robert Quinn?
Exactly.
Go find me the Robert Quinn real quick.
Well, it could be any number of guys. You could give me J.C. Treader on the offensive line.
I would love
Calais Campbell. Give me Bobby Wagner.
We'll love that.
Despite the fact that they say they're out on Bobby Wagner is done.
Now we're talking.
Have you signed with a team yet?
Now you're talking my language. Those are impact guys.
But that's the whole point. Yeah, well, basically what you're doing is, and this is once again, who the hell knows what's going to happen, right? Like, I mean, they could just surprise us tomorrow, or they could surprise us in 4 weeks, or they could never surprise us. Who the hell knows, right? So right now we know we're better at quarterback because of health, and we're better at safety than we were last year because we know our Jags are actually kind of good, right? So that's all right. And we know that we need a wide receiver. We know we need 2 O-line. We know we need a linebacker and a D tackle 1 tech. Right? We know what we need, right? And they can really only afford 1 star and some Jags in free agency. But there are some stars out there that would do one of those jobs, and then they would actually be able to draft and fill the holes without much difficulty. So for me, if they're trying to soften up Bobby Wagner by letting him wait, that's kind of like playing Russian roulette, but it is a game that you can play, right? If they're trying to soften up Calais Campbell, that's Russian roulette, but it's a game you can play. if they're trying to soften up, J.C. Tretter, it's a game you can play, right? But because there's multiple guys that are that good out there, they can afford to play that game.
Sure. I mean, their track record.
As mad as I am with the downside aspect of this thing, I'm like,
Listen,
seriously.
I hope like hell they go against their own track record, which is signing those type of guys. Yeah. J.C. Tretter ain't coming in here for less than $3 million. Campbell ain't coming in here for less than $3 million.
But they got 15, so if they give him 9, then he's coming in. So right? That's the thing. Like they got 15 million, and then they got another 10 on June.
Slow down.
2nd,
slow down.
They get another 10.
Slow down, sir.
Okay.
When's the last time the Dallas Cowboys have paid $9 million to an outside free agent? Go.
Probably never. Except Brandon Carr.
Okay. Okay. You answer that question. It's been 10 years. I agree with you. I hope they do something that they never do anymore. That's what I've been saying for 3 months. I pray that they go outside of what they do. But that's not what they do. That's not what they do.
Oh, I get it. But they almost never have $15 million worth of cap space at this moment, with another 10 coming to them on June 2nd.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Well, I hope they go against the grain. I hope they go against the grain. I really do.
One player. That's really all they're going to do. I think
that's all I ask.
Jags, like they always do.
For those that come to my show every day, brother, I've been asking for months. Just get me one. Just show me, right, that you're willing to go against your own grain to try to get over that hump. Oh, yeah. Just show me. I just need one. I'm not asking for 3, 4, 5
or it could be a
players.
trade for a player that has a kind of a decent sized salary. Like they might have that up their sleeve as well.
Yep.
But here's the funny thing.
That works.
In my opinion, and this is just an opinion, I could be totally wrong, whatever. If they stayed conservative in free agency for the rest of their existence, but got frisky at the trade deadline, I think that would be absolutely the perfect strategy for them. Because then you've got some money for whatever character you pick up at the trade deadline, and you pick up a character at the trade deadline who actually fits what you need for reals. The way when they got Amari Cooper, he fit what they needed for real.
Yeah.
Like when you're in, yeah, exactly. And so for me, I would be happy if they did. We do Jags in free agency, whatever. We draft like crazy. We do Jags in free agency, and at the trade deadline, we pick up a star on a rental, or 2 stars on a rental to fill every hole.
This is
and then we just
the Skittles and rainbows I'll be talking about.
Season and kill some people.
See, listen, to me, I appreciate you, brother, but I that's the Skittles and rainbows I'll be talking about. I can't come on here and spew this. I don't want to disrespect what you're saying, but it's Skittles and rainbows. It doesn't happen in Dallas,
Skittles
right?
and rainbows, brother. It is Skittles and rainbows. And that's the hilarious thing about it, because they won't do. I
want them like hell to do the things you're saying. I want to be wrong, and I'll get to my man Just Blaze. I want to be wrong on them doing those type of things
because I want them to
it makes
do that,
the team
and
better.
They haven't.
Yeah. Listen, brother, I'm with you. I'm all about the Skittles and rainbows if it happens. It just don't. So I don't want to be fake to y'all. That's
the question is and this is the question. And so this is my, I guess I'll do this as a question. It seems to me that since Mike McCarthy has come, and I'm not mad at Mike McCarthy. Some people are mad at Mike McCarthy. I'm not really mad at him. It seems like they draft better since Mike McCarthy has come. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like they've gotten, I don't know, man. I mean, that first year, that 2019 draft with CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs, that was 2019 or 2020? 2020, yeah. 2020 draft. That was a good draft. And last year with Micah Parsons and Boss Man Fat, that was a good draft.
We don't know about Boss Man Fat. We don't know about Boss Man Fat.
I think Boss Man Fat's going to take the job this year. It is what it is.
For what you're saying, I hope so too, and I believe he can beat what's his name. But hold up, they only had 2 drafts. Micah obviously makes that 2021 draft look crazy, but we got to wait to see the rest.
Oh yeah. So would Rashawn Slater. Like they were gonna win that draft no matter what. Like whether they went Slater or Parsons, they won that draft.
They draft well anyway, right? I think they drafted well before Mike McCarthy.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of tacos and LVEs in that mix before.
First round picks. I mean, again, you're talking about between 2014 and 2019. That's what 6 drafts. So you are not even said taco and LV. 2014, 2019.
They did some good stuff.
Right, so
Yeah.
you're
They
gonna
had
have
some
a
good
few
drafts,
misses.
Nansen.
You're gonna have a few misses.
Yeah.
But you're
Of course,
comparing
of
that to 2 drafts. So let's
Exactly.
wait at least more drafts under Mike McCarthy. But hey, dog, I got to get
Yeah.
going, man. We got more people on the phone.
Okay, you do your thing, man. And don't worry, I'm not hanging my hat on Skittles and Rainbows, but if we put enough, please get us some Skittles and Rainbows out into the Jones universe. Maybe they will hear it and go, Skittles and Rainbows are delicious.
I am that. Listen,
Whatever,
fam.
dude.
I will come on here. I said this on Twitter. I said it on my show. If the Cowboys do X, Y, Z, I will come on here and throw a party. I'm not the miserable
man. I
Cowboy
hope
fan.
You get to,
That's not
I
me.
sincerely hope you get to throw that party, man. I sincerely hope you do. Because
All right, man.
to me, last year they had a great team, and they, whatever.
Hey, appreciate
Anyways,
the call,
have a
man.
sweet night.
Thank you, man. Oh, sweet. It must be
All
night
right.
over there.
Morning there. Anyway,
It's early
so
morning,
all is
yeah.
well. All right. Well, have a sweet day and good luck and summon the Skittles and Rainbows. We need them. We must have Skittles and Rainbows. All right.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Have fun.
Oh, this has been interesting. Okay, so let me get to Blaze real quick because he clarified what he meant. Just Blaze. And that's my guy. I was like, what the hell? He said, Sky, you know we tighter than dreadlocks and fan band, but I want to know what you think we're going to do before we do it. Don't be scared to predict our record. So I'm imagining you're just talking about record-wise, right? Because I've given you the predictions on free agency. I've given you not really predictions on the draft, but how we approach the process. Dog, you want me to give you an answer to a test without the questions. I won't do that. March 30th. Ain't got nothing to do with being scared, brother. So I'm not going to talk like we in some defense mode here. It's March 30th. How irresponsible would it be to predict the damn record right now? The only thing I feel confident in predicting is that the Cowboys should win the NFC East. We can ignore history if you want, because it sounds like what you want to do. You want to ignore the history. The history is they haven't won the NFC East in back-to-back years since the 90s. We can also ignore this history. They haven't been to the playoffs in back-to-back years since 06-07. The common denominator is the two dudes I have the most issues with, Jerry and Steve. Okay? With all that said, I'm not giving no record numbers and all this stuff because I don't even know what the team is going to be looking like. But I'll say this. I think our team as constructed right now can compete and be better than the NFC East. The NFC East is trash. So forgive me for not coming on here and feeling so excited about the NFC. I think this is a trash division. It's a trash division. If they can't win the NFC East, it's a bigger problem. So, sorry, Just Blaze. I can't give you numbers. I can't be specific because the team is not complete yet. Like I said yesterday, and I've been saying, there is still opportunity to get better. At this moment, they're not, but there's still opportunity to get better. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not giving y'all. We're going to be 13-4 in March of that's not me. I've been trying to be one of the most realist Cowboys fans out there. Period. And I've been that way for decades. Decades. This isn't just new. This ain't new at all. I'm not going to come over here and blow smoke up y'all butts. And I'm also not going to say we're going to suck because I don't believe that either. But my standards are a little bit higher. I want to be more than just okay. I want to be more than just win the division. I want to win a goddamn Super Bowl. And I say this all the time. I would never hide my fandom. I would not let a network. I would not let a whatever. I am a Cowboys fan. I talk about the Cowboys every day to y'all. I try to be as real as possible, report the news, things like that, give my takes. At the end of the day, I am motherfucking tired of not winning the playoffs. And I know y'all are too. So I respect y'all frustration. Hey, Trucker's Life, what you got for us, man?
Hey, what's up, Sky? It's Trucker's Life.
What's going on with you, bro?
But, oh, man, that dude Bernard kind of irritated me coming in talking about the Raiders and Browns. We've been the Raiders and Browns for 26 years.
People don't view it that way because the star.
Stay positive, man. I'm tired of being I'm sorry, I almost cussed on your podcast, on
Good.
your show.
Good.
I'm tired of being positive. Man, I'm not going to lie. I am kind of intrigued with the James Washington signing. I'm not over the rainbow with it, but I want to see what he is like with the real quarterback. Because what it looks like we're trying to do on offense is trying to get yak guys. James Washington's kind of a yak receiver. He's not on CeeDee Lamb's level, but he's more of a yak receiver. But my thing is with this Bobby Wagner thing, man, if they really out on Bobby Wagner, man, they don't know how much he could have helped the team, not just on the field, but in the locker room.
Yeah.
In film study, what he can help develop Micah and Jabril Cox into. But instead, we're going to get LVE. Why get LVE when, he played okay the last part of the season. He played okay.
So,
but he doesn't have it up. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just want to. So James Washington and you said LVE to Bobby Wagner. Again, I never expected the Bobby Wagner thing to happen, so it's not a big shock to me. But there were other linebackers in free agency I thought they could have brought in and decided to roll with LVE. And with that, I'll say this.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You know, I'm at this point now where some of the moves they make, they just don't affect me one way or the other. James Washington, though, I don't want to seem down on James Washington. I believe that James Washington can come in here and probably have at least 500-yard season, 4 or 5 touchdowns. But if he needs to be wide receiver 2, maybe it's more than that. I like James Washington, the talent. It's clear as day he is not a futures guy, right? So now I have to think about it this way. Can James Washington help elevate this wide receiver room? I'm not ready to say that just yet. He's one of those dudes you got to show it to me. There's a couple players on this team that you got to show that you're going to elevate said room or said position. James Washington's one of them, right? And I think that with Dak, I said this before about Cobb. I said this about Cooper. He's had good history with new guys coming in and being able to click. So I think James Washington, if he's your wide receiver 2, I don't like it. If he's your 3 or 4, I can dig it.
I like that.
Yeah.
But then my other thing was with the signing of Michael Gallup. Why would you give a guy coming off a torn ACL that kind of contract? And then get rid of the proven guy because he had one down year. And it wasn't even a down year for him. It was a down year for Kellen Moore. But you made such a hard push to go get Kellen for what? The last part of the season, we should have been rolling.
I agree.
Why we look like we going in there with blown tires?
A lot of things.
That shit made no sense to me at all.
A lot of things. What I'm looking for from Kellen Trucker's life is improvement in himself. You know, a lot after the season, we talked a lot about Kellen and McCarthy, and mostly Dak. Now I think things have shifted more towards the players and the personnel because it's free agency. But eventually that pendulum's going to swing right back to Kellen Moore. All right, it's year 4. All right, learn from your mistakes. All right, the second half of the year, there are easy, identifiable mistakes in game planning and play calls that you can learn from. Kellen not stupid, you know. And if it is a situation where he's battling the front office, like I said before, then fire me. I'm going to do what I think is best for this team to win. And if you don't like it, then fire me. We need more of that mentality, I think, in this team. Period.
I got a question for you as well. It just popped in my head. With Kellen Moore having all them interviews for head coach, you think that put a fire under his ass? That might show him, okay, if I take this team to the next level, things might actually get even better.
I mean,
that's
I think organically,
lie.
right? I think organically that should be something that lights a fire under his butt. But from what I heard from around the NFL is that teams weren't feeling his personality. They didn't feel like he was a guy that could lead people, which isn't new to me. I've kind of felt the same way. I've talked to players and former coaches. They kind of feel the same way. It doesn't seem like that type of guy. And at some point as a head coach, you gotta be able to take hold of the team, right? And I don't really believe that in him. But the league is going towards that smart guy offensive mind, right? That offensive group with a young next up-and-coming thing. So I think he'll get a shot. We'll see how he does.
Yeah. And then last question, then I'll get off the phone. But hey, do you think the Cowboys, because we the publicity professionals of the damn NFL, you think they can be blowing smoke up people's ass right now with this waiting till the end, so that way when if it happens, if I'm speaking Skittles and rainbows right now, if it does happen that we bring one of them Calais Campbells or Akeem Hicks, Bobby Wagner, and you think that just blows up the internet? You think that could be what they're doing? Because they like to be in the spotlight.
Well, I don't necessarily think they're they call it lying season. I don't think that part of it they're lying about. The draft may be, but they like to show their hands. But I think they're really being honest. Stephen Jones is being honest. We're willing to wait for everybody's price to drop down, and I don't have a problem with that approach if you were aggressive early in the sense of, hey, I went out and got me a guy, right? I got me a dude, a BAMF, a badass mother, right? I got me one. Now let's kind of wait to see how the market sets, and if we can go out and grab me another dude for below market value, excellent. So I do think that maybe they're waiting for not maybe. I know they're waiting for those prices to come down. It's just, what's the number for Dallas? For years, it's been about 6 million, 6.5 tops. Can you get a guy like Wagner or Hicks or Calais Campbell for 6? Maybe. We'll find out. If so, I'll be on here applauding the hell out of them, right? Because I think those are the type of guys you need to bring in. But as it stands right now, it hasn't happened just yet. But there's time to improve, Chucker's Life.
Yeah, and just one quick statement. I think that bringing Malik Hooker and Javon Curse back, I think, because the way we saw Malik Hooker flying around and that run, hit, talk shit, that Javon Curse and Malik Hooker in the back end of our defense, I think that helped us out a lot. But I'm going to let you go. I'm on this road trying to get to where I got to go, and I'll talk to you later, man.
Appreciate you, Chucker's Life. Drive safe out there, man.
All right, man. You have a good one.
You too. My guy Tyrone said, what if they sign Akeem Hicks this week? I don't got my party music. I got my party music. I don't got my party music. But we party! Nah, I'm just playing. Akeem Hicks would be a fantastic get. I truly do. There's the injury concern. He's been injured, but we talked about this yesterday. Does the talent, is it worth it with the injury concern? And I think with Akeem Hicks it is. Short deal, maybe like what they did with Gerald McCoy. Didn't work out with Gerald McCoy. They waited for his price to drop a little bit, went and signed him. He unfortunately got injured. Was starting to be a little bit over the hill, but I don't know if that's the case with Akeem Hicks. I don't think he's over the hill just yet. Same with Khalil Campbell. I don't think he's over the hill just yet. I don't. All right, last one. Explosive show today. 757. What you got for us?
Sky, what's up, man?
What it is, what it do?
Hey, man, look, I got a little rant.
Hey, it fits right in with the show today. It fits right in with the show. Go on ahead.
Yes. Yeah, that caller you had, I can't remember his name. He was talking so much. That caller, the couple of callers you had a couple of calls ago.
From Portugal?
You said you were old school. No, not him.
Oh, Bernard.
The other one.
Bernard.
Yeah, Bernard. Yeah. Bernard, if you listening, you ain't the only old school Cowboy fan. I've been a Cowboy fan since '74. Okay, I've been through winning seasons. I done been through the Super Bowls. I done been through Danny White. I done been through all the bullshit after that. And then I've been through Jimmy Johnson. And then I've been through all the bullshit after that. Okay? We don't talk negative on this show. I listen to your show every day, bro. We don't talk negative on this show. We keep it real.
Keep it real, man.
And right now, we keep it real. And my take on it is, man, we fighting against fucking management. Excuse my French.
Good.
We fighting against management. We fighting against Jerry, and we fighting against his dumbass son. Man, that interview that you played where he was talking, man, that dude don't even know what the hell he talking about. I listened to the interview, And I'm like, man, what the hell is he talking about? He don't even know J-Ron's name.
Yeah.
But you supposed to be president of player personnel. And you're not even a football dude. You're not even a football dude. If you was a football dude, you wouldn't have franchised an average tight end. If you was a football dude, there's no way in hell that you franchise Schultz. There's no way in hell you franchise him. And then you can't even get Bobby Wagner, like you just said. I don't know which call it was. Man, that dude could have helped out the linebacker so much and produced, and all he wanted is $11 million. But guess what? You got $11 million tied up in a damn average ass tight end. Management, we fighting against management. That's number one. And if management is deciding on the play calls during the game, man, then Kellen Moore can't do what he really wanted to do. Now, I'm going to kind of beg to differ with that, because we do get off against bad teams, and we don't get off against good teams. So that shit they talk about, what Dak had 37 touchdowns last year. Yeah, look at how many touchdowns he had against all the bad teams. And you got a top 5 route runner, and you can't get him involved in the damn game. Now that might be management, because they all about the money. But we fight. Our main thing is we fighting against management, and as long as we fighting against management, unless, like you said, unless the coaches said, "Look, fuck that shit. We gonna play this game the way that we gonna play this game, and don't let management get involved. And if you don't like it, fire me." Unless they take that approach, man, we screwed. And that's all I got to say, bro.
Love it. Hey, appreciate the phone call, man. And you're absolutely right. We basically fighting against the man. That's what
yes, we fighting against management.
Fighting against the man.
And they're not gonna fire themselves. They're not gonna fire themselves.
No, not at all.
you know. So, all right, bro. You have a good one. Go on Walmart, get my wife something.
You too, man. Hey, take it easy out there at Walmart. I know it get crazy in there, man.
Yeah, all right, man. All right. I had to let it out before I went in.
No, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I let y'all get it out. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad, I let you get it out.
And we appreciate it, bro. We appreciate it. And Bernard, you need to listen. Bernard, you need to listen more, man. We ain't negative on them. We keep it real. And this shit is real. We fighting against management. We got dumbass management. All right, bro. You have a good one, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. He said this is real. That's all I try to be, man. That's all I try to be. Justice Team Schultz. I don't dislike him, but I agree. What the hell? I'm not tagging no damn Dalton Schultz, but they did it. He'll be back. And according to McCarthy, he'll be involved more in the offense. So, like I said, this is one of those situations where I want to be wrong. I want Schultz to show me he can be a featured tight end like a Kelsey, like an Andrews, like a Kittle, like a Ertz when he was, at the top of his game. Not a product of the system. What I mean by that is product of his environment, but a feature. Like, we can game plan for this man, right? We can get him busy on a linebacker or a safety, deep on a route or out or whatever. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. Man, it was explosive today. Let me get to these last bit of super chats.
Super chat.
Elmatic7, appreciate you with a $2 donation. He says, it should say, do you think that Dak is the guy? Let me see. Did you? Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, because I was wondering what you said right here.
Super chat.
The first super chat, he said, good morning, Sky. Do I think negative Dak is the guy? But I think he just means, do I think Dak is the guy who can get us to the elusive 6th ring? I love him, but I have my doubts with those happy feet. I do. I've said this before. I think Dak Prescott is a franchise guy and that you can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. Can you win a Super Bowl in Dallas with Dak Prescott? Maybe another question. And maybe another question entirely. I do want to see him take his game to the next level. But like most quarterbacks, you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. So if he's going to take the next level, we're talking about, and it's going to be CD Lamb, James Washington, and Schultz as your guys. Boy, you better go to a God tier level. And then the offensive line, if that don't get, boy, you better go to a God tier level. But I said this to the one caller. It's not just the players. I need everybody to be in the line. And Jesse said this. He said it last week. Last year, it actually all kind of came together in the sense of they hit quality at Family Dollar with the free agents. They drafted well enough, right? Micah Parsons blew it out the water. The other guys kind of fizzled, but at least Micah, right? And then your veteran guys were playing up to standard for most of the year. Then it got shaky after that. Hopefully we can do it again. Hopefully Dante Fowler is this year's J-Ron Curse. James Washington is this year's Malik Hooker. And then the guys we have take the next step. That's what they're banking on. They're not banking on proven veteran guys that have been Pro Bowlers, that have been elite, or that are game changers or impact players. They're banking on their guys taking the next step. But to answer your question, do I think Dak can do it? Do I think Dak can lead a team to a Super Bowl, the Cowboys? I don't know if he can. I'm be honest with you. I don't know if he can lead this organization to a Super Bowl, but I want him to. I have my doubts. And some of those doubts is him himself, right? Because I need him to be top 2-3 quarterback, and I don't think he's that right now. And even then, I mean, people consider Josh Allen the best or second best quarterback. Josh Allen ain't won a Super Bowl yet either. So you can be Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you're the greatest ever. You need other things to happen around you. So to answer your question, I do think he is a Super Bowl type of quarterback, but I don't think he's a Super Bowl quarterback on his own, bro. Not at all. All right. Wow. What a show. What a show. Steve said, fire in the sky. It's a good time spent. Y'all know me. Those that are new here, welcome. This ain't new to everyone that joins this show. I welcome you guys to vent. I welcome you guys to get it out. If we disagree, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Love y'all though, man. I love this. This is what I love to do. This is why I love involving y'all. I like to think that we are one of the most interactive shows out there in the Cowboys community, right? And there's other interactive shows as well, but this is what I love most about doing this every day, is being able to talk with y'all about the Cowboys every day with passion. Whether we agree or disagree, we bring the passion on this show, and I am going to keep it real. Period. With that said, let's get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all as always. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight. A to Z Sports Prime Time. Follow me on Twitter too. Pick this thing back up. At Skywalker Still. Follow A to Z Sports Dallas everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And let's thank our sponsors. Freeman Mazda Hyundai, Worth the Poor, in Texas Family Fitness. Love y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Get your damn act together.